say, Tiamo. As an author of several best-selling novels, and therefore an expert on storytelling, what is your opinion on modern fairy tales?
Can't say, that's a totally different genre from the ones I normally write, and I've never given it much thought.
What are you writing right now?
A crushing review of Thorne Bailey's new album that is slowly turning into a novel itself. My review should have been out by yesterday, but our new housemate always being noisy in the room next door kind of makes it hard for me to concentrate.
Oh yeah, Grande made my job a lot more difficult too by breaking my computer keyboard. But that was an accident, just like most of these modern reinterpretations of older cautionary tales. Why do they always have happy endings? What are children supposed to learn from a story about a stupid girl venturing into the woods against her mother's explicit warnings and surviving an encounter with a wolf? That you shouldn't listen to your parents?
I take it you prefer the version where Little Red Riding Hood gets eaten by the wolf and stays dead. Not surprising.
And whoever came up with this Hansel and Gretel bullshit obviously didn't know what they were writing about. First of all, there is no such thing as a blind witch. A real witch would use magic to restore her eyesight. Also, there's no way she could ever be beaten by two children with no magic powers whatsoever, no matter how smart they are.
You're taking this too seriously. Those are stories for kids.
Who will eventually grow into naive adults, thinking they can overcome anything just by firmly believing that they're the good guys. The real world doesn't work that way, and I'm glad you and Wilbica didn't turn out so dumb.
Thanks, I guess.
Good morning. Another day in freedom. How are you?
Couldn't be better. Thanks for letting me stay here for the time being. Do you like my book of fairy tales? It's my lucky charm. I always have it with me so I can read it whenever I'm feeling unhappy for some reason.
As long as you don't expect your new job in my criminal business to be anything like those stories, I suppose there's nothing wrong with that.
You're mad at me for breaking your keyboard yesterday, aren't you? I'm so sorry. Sometimes I underestimate my own strength, especially while I'm concentrating on something else. But I'll fix it, I promise.
It's alright. I was pretty impressed by your hacking skills. By the way, you don't have to wear your MIB suit around the house. Didn't Tiamo lend you some of his clothes?
He did, but you know, they're a few sizes too small. My previous apartment and everything in it, including my clothes, belongs to the SCIA, whom I no longer work for, and it's hard to find something in my size. So this is the only comfortable outfit I have at the moment.
Because you've been looking in the wrong places. Now why don't you go fix the keyboard while I take care of everything else?
Thank you.
Wilbica? Where the hell is she? That girl is harder to catch than the Pope these days.
I had this weird dream last night. I was at your house, Wilbica, with a red-haired vampire that was chasing me.
You're not supposed to remember that.
What do you mean?
Don't we usually forget dreams shortly after waking up? I know I do. Ask me what I dreamed last night and I definitely won't remember it. Sometimes I'm not even sure I dream at all.
We all dream, especially during the REM phases of our sleep, usually 4 to 6 times per night, with each dream lasting 5 to 20 minutes, even if they sometimes appear much longer to us. But not everyone remembers their dreams after waking up, and even those who do usually forget most of them. But the one with the vampire, that one keeps coming back. Last night wasn't the first time I had it.
Too bad my ancestor Adam isn't around. He would have told you what to do about those demons that haunt you at night.
Was Adam a doctor?
I wish you wouldn't have asked. Here we go.
Much better. He was a witch hunter, or rather a hunter of the supernatural in general, and he always caught them. Well, except for
2 young witches he chased to a well among the ruins of an old castle, where they suddenly disappeared into thin air. But those were the only 2 that ever got away. Yep, you tell that story every time someone asks about our ancestors.
Why are you saying that like you're ashamed of your family's history?
You say it like it makes you proud.
The Bellmen have been witch hunters for generations. Why do you think I became a cop? To continue their work of ridding our society of evil. And yes, that makes me very proud indeed.
So you think burning people at the stake for being different is a good thing?
Not for being different. For being evil. The Bible specifically states that no witch should be allowed to live, because they are the devil's brides.
What about the many men and especially women that were wrongfully accused of being witches? There was a time in history when simply knowing a thing or two about herbs was enough to brand someone a witch, and I'm pretty sure your oh-so-great ancestor didn't even bother looking into those cases. He probably felt it was better not to take any chances and kill them anyway. Do you take pride in that too?
What happened back then is not my husband's fault.
No, but it's obvious that he would have no qualms about making it happen again, would you, Aaron?
You're starting to sound like Elise. Why would anyone ever defend a witch?
Aaron.
What the hell was that?
Probably a taste of the pain your ancestor caused. Or call it God's punishment for your ignorance if you prefer.
Wilbica, that's a very rude thing to say.
But she's right, you know?
Your sister seems to be a bad influence on our children and their friends.
I don't think so. Jacob Jayden has a mind of his own, and so does Wilbica. They get along with Elise because of their similar worldviews, not because she's influencing them in any way.
Doesn't mean I have to like it.
Aunt Elise? She's not here. Strange.
If we don't leave anytime soon, I'll be late for class.
Don't worry about it. Wanna see something cool? If you're into strange literature about magic and witches, that shelf over there is your personal paradise.
You don't share your father's opinion on that stuff, do you?
Of course not, or else I wouldn't be calling it cool. These books are way more interesting than the one ancient tome my parents always refer to for pretty much everything. Do you think we should? Wow. What is that?
That is interesting indeed.
Why is your sister with the bells again? Does she live there now or what? Even though she reassured me that she's not romantically interested in that Jayden boy, I'm starting to have my doubts.
Please don't get dramatic again, he has nothing to do with it. Willie attends Foxbury Institute now, and Elise works there, so they might as well drive there together. Bright Chester is not exactly around the corner.
And that Elise isn't exactly the person you think she is. I can hardly wait to see your dumbfounded faces when you figure it out.
I wanted her to take Grande to Caster's Alley for some new clothes. Could you do that instead?
Now is not a good time, I'm about to meet the mayor at grandfather's mansion to start recording footage for her porn movie.
Another one of those details I never desired to know, but here we are.
Excuse me? You allowed her to use my parents' home as a set for the movie adaptation of her dirty secret fantasies?
I didn't think you'd care. And the mansion has been vacant since grandfather's death, we don't own it, so my permission wasn't exactly a legal requirement anyway.
True. It fell into the land grab's greedy hands along with my father's bank when he died, and now they think they can just rent it out to anyone for any purpose.
Since they're the landlords now, it's perfectly within their rights to do so.
Don't question my opinion with your stupid facts. Grande doesn't just need new clothes, but also a new place to live, and I think I just found him one. I'm getting that mansion back from the land grabs.
Except the land grabs don't own the place anymore either. But whoever listens to the dog.
Wow. What the fuck?
Looks like your aunt has been practicing witchcraft herself.
I don't know why I'm even surprised. It's not a secret that she believes in magic and has been incorporating it into her scientific research, so this is basically the next logical step.
Do you think your parents know about this?
Definitely not. My father would have thrown her at the stake a long time ago if he knew.
Not if she could help it.
This looks more like a science lab. And a prison. Do you think she's actually been keeping people here to experiment on?
You tell me, you know her better.
Well, at least I thought I knew her. Now I'm not so sure anymore. But this thing looks familiar. There was a sketch of something like it in one of her books. I just don't remember what it's supposed to do.
Let's find out.
Wait. What if she catches us, or figures out that we were here?
Then she'll have a lot of explaining to do. Are you afraid?
I'd say I have every right to be. You've seen the cell. Maybe it's meant for people who get too nosy. Wilbica? Oh no. What have you done? Wow. Wilbica? I'm not dreaming, am I?
Not unless I am too. That thing in Elisa's secret basement. I think it's some kind of teleportation machine.
But where did it take us?
No idea. It looks like the outskirts of Windenburg, but something is different.
Hey, you two. Come here.
Who are you?
Just an elderly hermit living in the countryside. And you sound like a strong young man who could help me with a few things around the house that I can't do by myself. Please, come in for a minute. You wouldn't ignore the request of a helpless blind woman, would you?
This is the mousehole I've been telling you about. I'm just a spoiled rich dude who can't do anything with his bare hands other than write messages with his smartphone, so I'll need a man like you to plug my holes with your tools. Don't put yourself down like that. I'm sure there are some more things you can do with your hands. My main tool is very easy to operate. Want to give it a try?
Cut. Yannick, if you're going to ad-lib your lines instead of sticking to my script, at least remember that you're a stuck-up rich millennial with no real-world experience. Simply saying that your hands aren't good for anything other than operating a mobile is too subtle to get the point across.
I don't think anyone will be watching this movie for its political or social commentary, Madam Mayor.
You're not here to think, Charmaine, just to provide the soundtrack. Anyway, Julian, I've decided to change one of your lines. My main tool is very easy to operate, sounds way too cringy. Let's go with, I have the biggest hammer you'll ever see. One more take, and Charmaine, play the music a little softer this time.
How about we concentrate on the footage for now, record the music separately and add it later in the cutting room, like normal filmmakers.
You're right. I already got a taste of what the finished product will look and sound like. No music then. Everyone ready?
Is there any point in the script where those two realize that they look exactly the same?
That's actually a plot point if I remember correctly. Sooner or later they'll discover that they're long-lost brothers, unlike the actors in real life, who just happen to be doppelgangers of each other.
I can't imagine there being an audience for incest stories like this.
You have no idea. Ever watched an episode of Game of Llamas? Incest is the new Romeo and Juliet.
Whatever. I just wish they wouldn't do this here.
So you've heard that this house is said to be haunted?
It's not. I've lived in a house that used to be haunted until I scared the ghosts away myself, so I'm kind of an expert, and there's definitely nothing supernatural going on in this one.
Maybe not, it's just what people are saying, and one of the reasons Mayor Von Hinton was originally reluctant to come here, because she's a very superstitious person. But all that stuff happened centuries ago, if at all, so I guess it's no longer relevant today.
Alright, you've piqued my interest. What did happen hundreds of years ago?
Rumor has it the lot originally belonged to an elderly woman who kidnapped children. That is, until two of her would-be victims turned the tables on her and burned her along with her house. Even though a new house has been built here since then, it is said that the child snatcher's ghost is still around, and that those events served as an inspiration for the Grimm brothers' Hansel and Gretel fairy tale.
You know what? Maybe this mansion is indeed haunted after all.
And, cut. Now that was a lot better, don't you think?
Excuse me everyone, this has been fun, in the weirdest way ever, but I have to go. See you later.
Can I offer you anything else?
Thanks, but I'm afraid my stomach is going to explode if I just so much as look at food again. Where did you get all those tasty sweets?
And more importantly, why exactly are we here again? You asked for our help, but you've only been feeding us since then.
Oh, you're going to help me. I just had to make sure you wouldn't run away once I tell you what exactly I need your help for. And wait for the snake venom in the cake to take effect.
What? Oh, fuck. I can't move.
Don't be afraid. I'm not one of those twisted souls who take pleasure in this kind of sacrifice. It's going to be quick and painless.
What sacrifice?
I'm offering you to the great Vladislaus Strahd, the oldest currently living vampire in the region, in exchange for his gift of immortality that will cure my blindness as well.
Newsflash, Vlad Strahd was killed by witch hunters shortly after he founded Forgotten Hollow, back when that was still an independent village. Other vampires built a memorial statue of him before you could even have been born, so unless he's been reincarnated, he's not going to bite you from his grave, and you'll need a medium to even talk to him.
Little girl, you are very confused. Forgotten Hollow was only founded a few years ago, and Vladislaus was still alive, as much as a vampire can be, when he turned one of my friends last month. That's how I even heard about that deal in the first place. You bring him fresh blood, and he rewards you with his gifts. That is the truth.
The only truth you've told today is that you're blind, otherwise you would have seen that I never even touched your fucking cake.
What just happened?
I'll be right back. There, mandrakes.
Wilbica.
I'm here. Don't ask any questions, just eat this, okay?
Children, where are you? Please, come back.
Here's my gift for you, you child-eating cunt.
Wilbica. How the fuck did you do that?
I think we didn't just teleport, we traveled through time as well. We have to get back to our time immediately.
Witches.
Oh no, not that too.
Dad?
My name is Adam Bell, and I am not your father. The devil is. I saw how you two set the old woman's house on fire. For that, you are going to burn too.
Not if you burn first. That's not your dad Jayden, it's his crazy witch-hunting ancestor. Come on.
But...
Stop the witch children. Don't let them get away.
There, that's our way out of here.
The well? Wilbica, we're not Golden Mary and Pitch Mary.
I've seen my mother do it before. But what was the exact incantation again?
There they are.
Wishing well, oh magic fountain. You whose strength can move a mountain. Please accept our sacrifice for your assistance and advice. Open the door to time and space. And get us back to our own place. Help us out with a magic spell, oh wishing well, oh wishing well. Yes, that could work. And then we have to throw a coin in it.
What are you doing?
No time to explain, just say it with me.
Wishing well, oh magic fountain, you whose strength can move a mountain. Please accept our sacrifice for your assistance and advice. Open the door to time and space, and get us back to our own place. Help us out with a magic spell, oh wishing well, oh wishing well.
Wait.
Where did they go?
We should definitely reshoot the bathroom scene. I find it kind of bland. A cat playing with a toy in the background would make it so much more adorable, don't you think?
It's your movie, and you already told me not to think, but if it was mine, adorable isn't exactly the term I'd want people to use to describe that sex scene. Or any sex scene, really.
You have to look at it from a marketing perspective, Charmaine. The more people watch, the better. And the addition of something sweet and innocent like a cat could help the movie reach a wider audience by making it suitable for the entire family. What's that? Why is it suddenly dark outside? Did we spend all day shooting?
No, we're barely past noon. What's going on?
I am going on. And you are not welcome here.
What? Who are you?
I am the ghost of the evil child-eating witch who used to live here centuries ago, and if you don't leave my property right now, Madam Mayor, I will eat your sons, and your cats too.
No.
That was easier than I thought. No more porn in my parents' home. The next step is to get it back from the land grabs. But, wait, where are the mayor's sons? And where is mine?
Oh, hello Mum. We were just celebrating the success of the first day of shooting.
pretty sure the reshooting of the bathroom scene wasn't supposed to include a third actor.
Pretty sure you said you were going home.
Just be so kind and clean up after yourselves before you go, will you? Bye.
It's so weird how you knew exactly what to do to get me out of my paralysis.
The woman talked about snake venom in the cake, but only poison works through digestion, whereas venom has to be injected directly into the bloodstream to take effect, like through a bite. So I assumed what she really put in the cake was the poisonous scales of the Naganaste snake, the #1 ingredient in paralyzing potions, and the only thing that helps against that is a raw mandrake root.
And you know this because you're a witch. Like my Aunt Elise. Speak of the devil.
There you are. I've been looking everywhere for you too. Didn't you want to go to school today?
Sorry. We got distracted.
Well, I'm not surprised. My brother-in-law told me about your little argument. No wonder you're upset. He can be so stubborn, especially when it comes to his family's witch hunter legacy. But I'm glad to hear you called him out on his bullshit, Wilbica. How do you know so much about the historical persecution of witches?
How does Evelyn know so much about dreams? Everyone has hobbies, I suppose.
It's not just a hobby in her case. She used to be a nurse.
Really?
A nurse with ambitions to study medicine and become a doctor. But then she got married to my father, gave birth to me, and everything went downhill from there.
Don't make it sound like you were a mistake. She could have had both a family and a career but chose not to. We may not understand it, but we have to respect it.
I wish Aaron would think the same way about the things he obviously doesn't understand. How can someone be so close-minded in the 21st century? Has he ever even met an actual witch?
He probably has, without realizing it. It's not like they have it written on their foreheads after all.
You have no idea how right you are.
So, do you need a ride to school, Jayden? Are you coming with me to Foxbury, Wilbica?
There's no point. We've already missed half of the day.
Okay, since I'm not a mother of either of you, I'm not going to tell you what to do. But I still have to go, so see you later.
Should we tell her that we know?
Not yet. I'm still trying to wrap my head around the idea myself. About her. And you.